Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined, as I like to refer to him now, pal of mine, Caoimhin Agyarko. Go on now with that. Look at that chain, by the way. Can I just say, look at that chain. That is some serious bit of jewellery, man.
Go look well after the fights.
100%.
Go look well in the ring and after the fights, you know what I mean?
100%. Joined by Caoimhin Agyarko, Black Thunder, who had we went 10 rounds with Juan Carlos Rubio. Look, he was a tricky southpaw, a good, sturdy, hard Mexican. We were talking a little bit off camera, Caoimhin, you know, maybe you're feeling a little bit criticising yourself a little bit too much, perhaps. But you got the job done and you were in total control. Just reflect on the fight for me a little bit.
Yeah, do you know what? Tough opponent. Took him on a week's notice. Obviously, he only had a week's notice. He was training. Southpaw, tough Mexican. I'm always hard on myself. Maybe putting too many singles together tonight instead of combinations. Maybe a bit too comfortable. Obviously, I wanted the stoppage. I hurt both my hands. But I'm not going to make any excuses. I got the win. I'm not going to be overly critical of myself, because I feel like after every performance, even if it's a good performance, and I watch it back after, I'm very critical of myself. I got the win. Another step in the right direction. Still defending my title. Well, first defence of my title, do you know what I mean? And I got the win, so I can't complain.
There you go. I mean, look, you're dead right. You got the win, and that is the most important thing. And I think at this level of sport, in high performance sport, sometimes the thing is you're not always going to perform at your very max, right? And you have to learn how to get the job done when you're maybe not feeling your best, or you're not figuring the guy out as well as you perhaps could, right? Is that a big part of it? And is that something that you've become more conscious of as you've kind of grown into the game?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a perfectionist and I always want to give my best, give 100%. And I just felt like tonight I was maybe a bit too comfortable with singles and just letting that right hand go, letting the jab go, and just getting through the rounds. Once I hurt my hands, I was like, right, take no risks, don't go for the stoppage. And then in the 8th round, I heard him, I was like, right, go for it.
Yeah.
So it's about learning that balance. At the same time, it's gaining experience. First time doing 10 rounds, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's experience you can't buy, and it's probably going to benefit my career, knowing that I can do 10 rounds against a tough opponent. Someone who, I was hitting him with every shot in the book, and he was still coming out, putting pressure on me, do you know what I mean? Trying to put me on the back foot and coming out to win. So as much as I feel like I could have did better, he probably didn't allow me to. So yeah. I still got the win, and I got to be grateful and happy.
Definitely. I mean, to further, just to push on that point, how much of it is, because sometimes we get a little bit, we think a little bit too much about ourselves and our own performance, but perhaps, as you said there, as you alluded to, you know, the opponent has a large input into how the fight goes, right? Especially when it's a good opponent like Juan Carlos Rubio. So how much did he stop you from getting your plan off or your rhythm how you wanted to? Do
you know what? Taking on a week's notice without any real southpaw sparring, I had 1 or 2 spars. I come out and I said, yeah, I had 3-4 southpaw spars, but when I didn't really.
Yeah.
Obviously just trying to not make any excuses before the fight. And I felt like he was dangerous, do you know what I mean? No, he had 8 or 9 KOs out of 18 fights, 18 wins. He was dangerous with his right hook, and he probably didn't allow me to kind of be as aggressive as I wanted to be, or dictate the fight as much as I wanted to be. But I felt like the best Caoimhin Agyarko would have dealt with that in a better way.
Yeah.
And listen, you face adversity in fights, and your opponent doesn't allow you to box the way you want to box, or like I did, fucking hurt both my hands in the fight. So it is what it is, but I got a good win. So
definitely, man. So look, we'll move on from the fight now. What's next for you? I know that Asan and Dam was the fight they were trying to make, right? Great name, former world champion, Olympian. It's a great name. It would have been a great name and a great kind of showcase fight for you. But that didn't come off in the end. So is that something that you would chase now again going forward? Would you like to get that name, or is it just names in general, or are you just looking to step up in class? What way are you looking to progress now?
I think a step up in class is the right way forward. I did mention that he's saying Hassan Adam in Belfast would be perfect. He didn't agree, feeling like Hassan Adam is a good name for me, but not for a headline show in Belfast.
Okay.
Which I can see the reasons why he hasn't got a win in his last two free fights.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So maybe it doesn't sell as much as it should. But a step up in class is what I need and what I want. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the better the fighter, the better I'll perform. But I've still got a lot of learning to do. As much as I know that I'll be a world champion, and as much as I feel like I'm one of the best middleweights out of there, I'm very critical of myself, and I'm a perfectionist, and I know I'm a realist. I don't bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And that performance tonight. Listen, I'll have to go back and watch it back and see what I did right, what I did wrong. But I'm a perfectionist, like I say, and I know that performance isn't good enough for the standard that I want to be at, or that I feel like that I am at. But at the same time, it was a good win, like I say. But yeah, someone like Hassan Adam, even if it's not a headline show in Belfast, next fight would be perfect for me. It's a step up with someone who has world championship experience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like Macho more putting the tough opponents in front of me. Unbeaten opponents. Someone like Rubio tonight, who's only been beat once, and a tough fighter. He's going to test me.
Yeah, definitely, and they definitely are looking to match you and kind of throw you up the ranks as quick as they can. You know, depending on kind of fight by fight. But one thing that Eddie had said a few times now is a potential matchup against one of the other top Irish middleweights. So you're talking Luke Keeler, Jason Quigley, and Spike O'Sullivan. Now Spike does operate, he's starting to operate now at light middle, but what do you think of that? Packy Collins has come out and said he won't be entertaining that kind of, any kind of tournament format, you know, fighting yourself or fighting the lads. What do you make of that, and is that something that you would like a big headline show in Belfast with one of the other Irish guys?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I just spoke to Spike, he congratulated me on my win, and it's a fight that I would definitely entertain. Whether his team want it or not, or feel like they're past that level, that's fair enough. I'm not going to criticise that, but at the same time, I'm not too sure where Spike goes right now, or what kind of move he wants next. Luke Keeler or Jason Quigley, I feel like I'm still two fights away from that, 2-3 fights. Okay. Definitely, I feel like, listen, they've had more experience, they've fought world title fights, haven't done as well as I thought they would have. But they still have that experience that I don't have.
Yeah.
Technically, I think I'm better than all these middleweights. I don't think there's a middleweight that's technically better than me, but respectfully, that they have had more experience and there's still tough fights for me. But I would entertain them. I need them step ups. And listen, Jason Quigley in Belfast would be a madness. Luke Keeler in Belfast would be a madness, and they both sell out. So why not? Do you know what I mean? By October, November time, why not? I'm ready I'll be ready for them fights. One more fight, 2 more fights, I'll be ready.
100%, man. That's what we want to hear.
And listen, I'm not afraid to dox anybody. I'm in this game to make a name for myself, to become a world champion, to test myself, and I feel like I would beat them lads. Respectfully, I feel like I'm better. Technically, I just need the experience.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna ask you something now that I've heard people say this, and I don't know what your take will be on it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've heard some rumblings that you perhaps are a little bit too small for middleweight and that you should perhaps be competing at light middleweight. What do you make of that? What do you make of that comment that from whoever it may have been from? Do you know what I mean?
How long will I hold light middle for?
But this is what I'm asking. Do you know what I mean? So you tell me. There's some sort of narrative that perhaps you're a small middleweight.
How long will I hold light middle for? I won't hold it for 2-3 years. Unless I'm going to hold it for 2-3 years, there's no point going to it now. Okay. Because long term it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Short term in 2-3 fights, it makes sense. But I'm not going to fight for a world title in light middle. If a world title opportunity presented itself, I would be able to make light middle. Maybe I would kill myself to make it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And I would make it just for the world title fight, because it's for a world title. But what am I making a world title, or what am I making light middle for for a normal fight, for a title, it makes no sense because the long-term goal is to be world champion.
Yeah.
So why would I go down to light middleweight when I'm not going to hold it for 2-3 years? Because I don't see myself being a world champion for another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I want to be world champion before I'm 28. I'm 25. I'm 3 years away from that. So why go down to light middle now? Why not just comfortably be middleweight? I'm going to grow. I'm getting older. I'm going to grow into a physically mature middleweight. I'm a strong middleweight now. I've boxed at 75 since I was 17 years old in the amateurs. So how am I not middleweight? Canelo Alvarez is 5'9". I'm 5'10". Mike Tyson was a heavyweight and he's 5'11". It's not about how big you are, it's about how skillful you are and if you can use that to your advantages. And I'm a fighter that can use that to my advantages. I punch hard enough for middleweight. I'm technically a very good fighter at middleweight. So it's about adopting to that weight category as time goes on. I don't feel like I should be a middleweight. I'm 5% body fat, 5-6% body fat at middleweight. Anything less than that, you're taking fluid from your brain. So what have I got down to? Why do I have to go to light middle?
No, and that's why I asked that, because I wanted you to educate me almost on what the reasons would be. And I think that's a good point. If you are not able to hold on to 154 for like a significant period of time, then it's a good point. Why bother?
Look at a lot of the high level fights and them killing themselves at weights. And maybe Josh Taylor, for example.
Do you think he's dead at the weight?
Incredibly dead at the weight.
Really?
Lee Wood tonight, Mick Connon, maybe not Mick, but Lee Wood tonight, dead at the weight.
Wow. Okay.
I just felt like maybe his strength was the better in the fight. I had Mick winning by 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that as well. Yeah.
By 4 or 5 rounds, and listen, this boxing, unfortunately, I'm heartbroken for Mick, but I had him winning by 4 or 5 rounds, but he was dead at the weight. Mick had him hurt multiple times, dropped him, had him gone at stages. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's because of the weight. Why do I put my health at risk going down the light middle?
Yeah.
My performance is at risk going down the light middle when I can be a strong middleweight, when I can be a healthy middleweight.
Yeah.
Boxing's a very physical, tough sport that takes a lot of your health.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to put my health in jeopardy. I'm trying to I want to be a world champion, make as much money, and get out of this sport with my health intact. Do you know what I mean? So
with your brain intact, like.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So listen, I could probably make light middle for a year and a half, but the long-term goal to be a world champion, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. 100%. And thanks for explaining that to us, because I have heard that, that narrative that perhaps you should be competing at a lower weight. But it's interesting for us fans to get your answer to it.
It's not, do you know what it is? It's not that I can't make it. I can make it. But I've spoke to my dad, nutritionist. It's been an ongoing conversation. Okay. Even to this day, when I'm eating Nando's, obviously I had butterfly chicken, peas, and a salad 2 days out. I'm eating the night before weighing and eating the morning of a weigh-in. And it's like, can I make middleweight? When in half a pound under middleweight limit. But then I've still got £5 to go, which is a lot of weight. Do you know what I mean? I would have to lose muscle. So it's like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And that's a good answer. Thank you for giving me a really comprehensive answer on that one. What I will do, Caoimhin, and I won't keep you for too much longer, because you're celebrating. We're in the bar here. It's a nice atmosphere. You have a victory under your belt. You deserve to have to celebrate that victory. But we did see Michael Conlon get knocked out in the 12th round quite abruptly. He was cruising, in my opinion at least, he was cruising the fight. He had, as you alluded to there, he had a knockdown in the first round. He was, Eddie Hearn said himself, he was kind of putting on a bit of a masterclass at times. And all of a sudden, he had obviously taken some shots, but one punch seemed to completely do him. Can I just get your take on the fight?
Heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for him, because I genuinely felt like it was his night. Being ringside, cheering him on, seeing him winning so comfortably the first 6 rounds, dropping Lee, I think personally for me the fighting Irish in him, the pride in Mick came out a bit too much. He could have gotten his bike, used his boxing brain, which he did at stages, but to them later rounds I felt that he could have used it more.
Yeah.
But that's boxing, do you know what I mean? This is a sport and that's what happens, do you know what I mean? And maybe he felt like going into that last round that he had to win it to take it away from the judges in Lee's hometown. But like I say, I'm heartbroken for him because I had him winning. He was probably 40 seconds to a minute away from being a world champion.
100%. And to be honest, like, even I know, like, it's a weird situation because I shouldn't be, you know, I should be completely unbiased and not emotional towards it. But I think as Irish media members and Irish fans, we are heartbroken by it because, especially because of the circumstances of the fight. He was completely in control, so it's hard for me to even hide that emotion. Do you know what I mean? I was honestly heartbroken as well, as exactly like you said when it happened, and I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. You know, he was completely in control. But yeah, where does Mick go from here, in your opinion? I mean, does he campaign for a rematch? I think it's just he has a good show he's a good show in terms of deserving a rematch. What do you think?
I don't think Lee would want a rematch. I think he'll try and fight someone like
the winner of Martinez and Warrington in 2 weeks.
Martinez and Warrington, which is a bigger fight, maybe bigger payday. What does he want to fight Mick Conlan, who nearly beat him for?
Yeah.
Mick's resilient, and he showed it in the past. And he's a fighting Irishman. He comes from a tough family and a tough community in West Belfast. So I know he'll be back, and I know he'll be stronger, and he'll definitely be world champion. And I'll be wishing him the best, and I hope he comes back, and I know that he will. But it is a long road back to where he wants to be. Just it depends how he takes this defeat. For me personally, if I was him, I wouldn't be ashamed or take it bad at all, because it was one punch that changed the fight. Literally, it was one punch that changed the fight. I had Mick winning, and I felt like he probably thought he was winning. His team thought he was winning. And in the sport of boxing, one punch can change a fight. So
yeah.
I think he'll be back, and at featherweight, maybe super feather. Doesn't punch hard enough, maybe not, but at featherweight anyway, and he'll be back, and he'll definitely be a world champion.
I hope so. I hope you're right, Caoimhin.
Listen, he has the technical ability to be, and his Mick's inside game, like fighting on the inside as much as being a technical boxer, is unbelievable. Like he ripped Lee Woods to shreds inside, like body shots, covering up, catching on the gloves, catching on the elbows. Really good, right? But probably did it a bit too much tonight in the later rounds. But I feel like he will be a world champion. Mick deserves to be a world champion. He's resilient. He's like, only seen him briefly training with him on the amateur squad. I've seen him how hard he trained, and I expect he trains. I've heard he trains so much harder now as a pro. Yeah. So I know he'll be back. I hope you're right, and I expect him to be back as well. Very quick word on Gary Cully. Bless you. He won by 5th round knockout of Miguel Vasquez. Nobody really expected him to do that job, not because we don't think that he was good enough to do it or because he's not special, but because Miguel Vasquez doesn't get knocked out. Impressed. Watching it in the changing room, he deserved it. Yeah. He made a statement, and he showed how good Gary Cully is. And if I'm being honest, there's certain fights where I've been like, is that a bit of a step up for Gary? Is that a bit too much? And every time he's proved me wrong, and I didn't doubt him tonight. I thought he would have got the one on stoppage. I never doubt Gary. I know how good he is. I've actually sparred Gary when we were kids on the Irish team. I've been on the Irish team seeing him, how good he is. But to go out there and make a statement like that, Gary deserved it. He showed how hard he trains, how hard he works, and he took his opportunity. No one's done that. And listen, regardless of what Vasquez was in there to do or his losses or whatever else, he beat O'Hara Davis and he beat Lewis Ritson. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Who are two lads who are more experienced than Gary. So for Gary to go out there and put a statement on like that, is unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? It just shows the level that he's at and where he's going to go in the sport. Unbelievable.
Absolutely, agree. And again, probably shouldn't, but I absolutely agree. Caoimhin, I'm going to leave it there because I've taken way too much of your time up. You're celebrating, but you're a gentleman. You've always given me loads of time, and I just want to say thank you very much for talking to IrishBoxing.com.
It's a pleasure as always. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, mate.